Week 11 sees me on the northwest again. Now here I've thrown the flasher and looked away from the flasher. When I look back, there's a salmon at the flasher. By the time I bring the gun back over, the salmon is not at the flasher. So here I've learned a lesson that if you're playing with a flasher, keep your gun and focus on the flasher, not the pretty demersal species hanging out below. Bugger. That was actually the only salmon I saw that weekend. So it come in right at the start of the dive and then shoofed off. Not to worry, there were plenty of fish about, which was great. I would have loved a salmon, but I do quite like my sweep. And always nice to get something early on in a dive. This guy's just coming to check me out, and I think, well, alright, I was looking for that salmon to come back, but it was gone. Nice start to the day. A lovely sweep. Now I was with Ryan and we went out to this other point, and it turned out there was tons and tons of baitfish. So what had happened, we were on the, I guess you could say the northern end of a bay, and the wind had been blowing into that end pretty gnarly that day. Not super gnarly, still calm enough to get out. You can see there's a bit of chop there. And it seems like it's pushed all the bait up to this end. There's Ryan with a little Jack Mac. Plenty of those guys about. So it was really, really cool. We were diving down on these schools of anchovy, blue mackerel, jack mackerel, hoping to see something bigger, but didn't end up seeing anything too big. But there's some pikes, so just tons of them. Boarfish there. And just so many fish. Just nothing much that was big, unfortunately. Still, it was absolutely cool to see so much baitfish hanging out at this spot. The current and the wind was pushing us off the spot quite a bit, so I thought I'd check out the sandy bottom. Love a good sandy bottom. And yeah, couldn't help but look up at all those fish. Just so much about. Yeah, I didn't stay there too long, but I didn't see anything on the sandy bottom. But yeah, columns and columns of just tons of baitfish. It was just so cool to see. I was half tempted to try to shoot an anchovy. I thought that would be pretty cool. maybe if I had my other gun, or maybe if I had a pranger gun or something like that, a little pranger gun would be fun in the anchovies. Here I am going down for another drop. Yeah, cool reef wall on the edge of this spot. Pike galore. We had a couple of gulls hanging around our catches up there. I did have one of the fish that I took home did have a bit of a gnarly looking tail, might have been nipped on a few times, but they didn't manage to steal anything. Good thing I didn't shoot any anchovies, they probably would have gone for that. But yeah, just absolute magic, just all these fish. So much. Not moving too hectic, just chilling. Some of them are feeding. You can see these guys, all those little flashes of light as they flicker about. Just so cool. There's Ryan going for a drop down as well. Here I found some mullet. Thought, I might have a crack. See if I get a bit closer to them, but they did not want a bar of it. And behind him you can see a cormorant there. So it's always cool seeing birds swimming around. I love it. Here he is again. Just diving around, looking for some little fish. And I spooked the crap out of him here. Wasn't going to hurt it, just thought I'd see if I get a cool shot of him rising up, and he thought, nah, getting away from that monkey. Some hula fish, there's a little white ear, blue throat, barb perch hanging out. Yeah, just a really, really beautiful active reef. Marble fish, sweep, magpie. Really cool spot for a nice afternoon dive. It's just so fun swimming down and watching those schools of bait just flicker about. Yeah, I was tempted to try. They're very, very small targets though, not much food on them either. But they were just so cool. You see them just moving around, feeding, doing their own thing, enjoying life. Yeah, I took a shot. Kind of hard to keep track of them. They're very small. Here, Ryan's managed to shoot himself a cod.
That's not what I'd expect you get right here. Free swimming.
So it was swimming out in the open. I thought that's pretty gnarly. You only see them if you look into caves. Always cool to see more different fish behaving differently. It's always cool to see. Yeah, every drop, just fish everywhere. It's just, I keep saying that, fish everywhere. I'll probably say it again about 8 more times before the end of this video, just because there was fish everywhere. Look at there, I was looking at that herring carp, thinking about having a crack, but yeah, it did seem like every time I pointed the gun at something, it was, except for that sweep at the start, keen to swim away. But that's fine. Sometimes it's nice just going out and checking out all the cool fish. Just look at them go. Fish everywhere. Here I'm behind them in the light. That's pretty cool. All the little sparkles. Go down for another drop. Through the pike. Let's scope out more pike. And down there's a cod. I think about it, and it just disappears. And as I swim a bit closer, another cod appears and disappears. Going down to their holes. I wasn't really in the mood for looking into holes, just swimming around and looking at everything. But yeah, cool seeing the cod out and about. And all the little fish, as they were, everywhere. Straight down to the edge of the reef this time. Yeah, there, that cod gets my attention. I think it must be a ghost, because this shot looks like it went straight through it, but did not. I must have shot just slightly high. And towards the end I thought, wouldn't mind another fish before I go home. And I do love magpie perch, so I'll take a Maggie for tea. Maggie and a sweet. Beautiful.
Thanks for watching this vid. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.